Hi there. It's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap, and today we're recapping an romantic comedy anime called Fly Me to the Moon, so sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime begins with a young boy named Nasa Yuzaki lying down in the middle of the road on a snowy day covered in blood. He heard an angelic voice assuring him he will be fine and slowly passes out. Few hours before the accident, Nasa was discussing with his teacher about his future. He confidently said to her, he will be fine before heading out. With a lot of thoughts spinning around in his head, he encounters his fate.
うっかり運命に出会ったのだ。
Infatuated by the girl, and without any doubt that talking to her was the reason he was born, he crosses the road. But just as he gets halfway across the road, a truck comes speeding towards him. A terrible blow hits him and everything turns to black, until he opens his eyes and sees the girl in front of him covered in blood just like him. It turns out she was the one who took most of the blow, protecting him. She tells the truck driver to take Nasa to a hospital, and tells Nasa to forget about her and vanishes into the night. Few moments had passed. Nasa quickly wakes up and asks the driver where the girl went, but he tells him that he shouldn't be moving due to his injuries. So, he runs off to find the mystery girl in the snowy blizzard despite his worsening condition. He eventually finds her in a bus stop. The girl is taken aback by his actions and simply tells him to sit down. Nasa starts getting very embarrassed from being so close to her, and even more so when she gives him her coat. Seeing his condition take a turn, she decides to go get someone to help him. But seeing the girl is about to leave him again, he finally works up the courage to confess his feeling to the girl and asks her to go out with him. After a moment of silence, she turns around and tells him that, if he marries her, she'll go out with him. And without any hesitation he shouts out a strong yes before fainting. He later wakes up in a hospital, and found out the girl is gone. As the days go by, Nasa continues to recover and study. After passing his exam in the new year, instead of going to high school, he decides to solely focus on jobs that involve serving customers, in the hopes of meeting that girl once again. But that day seemed like it would never come, and soon he was living all alone in a small apartment. 2 years have passed, when she suddenly arrives at his place, much to his complete and utter shock. She finally introduces herself to him as Tsukasa Tsukuyomi. After the two of them settle down at the table, Tsukasa takes out a marriage form, completely shocking Nasa. After reaffirming his determination and feelings for her, Nasa fills out the relevant parts of the form, clearing away any doubt and confusion he still felt, as his common sense couldn't overcome her cute smile. Luckily for them, the marriage office is still open at night, and so, Nasa and Tsukasa head out to get their form legitimized. Arrived at the office, they soon get their marriage finalized, and also get a commemorative plant. Now officially married, Tsukasa suggests that they try holding hands, and Nasa gets so flustered about holding her hand that he starts to yearn for other things he can now touch, which Tsukasa ends up hearing. Now waiting alone at his apartment for Tsukasa to come back with her stuff, he quickly realizes there is a possibility they will be sleeping on the same bed, and that makes him panic. In the desperation of the moment, he tries to work out a way where the two of them can sleep comfortably on one bed. But Tsukasa soon returns, and much to Nasa's embarrassment she finds him hugging a pillow while imagining himself with Tsukasa. Nasa then wonders if her family would be worried about her being out so late, but Tsukasa says that she doesn't have a home now. Upon hearing this, he decides that having one futon is fine and he can sleep on the floor, but Tsukasa suggests that she stay at a hotel for the night. Nasa seems displeased with the idea, until she tells him that since she is his wife she won't be going anywhere. He then wonders why she became his wife in the first place, and asks her why she married him. But, she says that it's a secret, much to his annoyance. When bedtime comes, Tsukasa heads out to stay at a hotel for the night. However, fearing that she will disappear again like before, he insists that he buy a second futon for her so she doesn't have to go, which she agrees to this, as long as they can try out a memory foam one. They then visit a store to buy one, with Tsukasa asking if this will be Nasa's first present to her as a husband, to which he blushingly answers yes. Once they come back home, they quickly get into their pajamas and start to settle down for sleep. Unfortunately, Nasa is unable to get any proper sleep, due to being completely distracted by her. After watching her toss and turn while sleeping, Nasa wonders if he should give her a goodnight kiss, but decides against it as he wants their first kiss to be different. Suddenly, Tsukasa gets up for a drink and upon returning to her futon, she falls asleep atop his bed pulling the covers off as she slides back down to her bed. In the end, Nasa can't sleep at all, with his waifu so close to him. The next morning, Nasa wakes up to find his sleepy wifey undressing in front of him. He quickly stops her, and went to the other room. After getting changed, Tsukasa tells Nasa to stop being so formal with her, which he start to call her
司ちゃんって。
making her blush as she is not ready for the cuteness. Tsukasa then decides to prepare breakfast, and when she takes a look inside Nasa's fridge, she became quite surprised at the amount of food he has organized. Which he tells her that he studied dietetics, and worked out the best meal for him was hot pot every day. Unimpressed by this, Tsukasa tells him to wait while she prepares better food. After 10 minutes, they sit down to eat, with Nasa totally surprised by the amazing results she produced. Once they finish their meal they decide to go to the nearest bathhouse, as Nasa's apartment doesn't have a bath. And so, they head out and after buying various things for Tsukasa, they arrive at the Arasugawa bathhouse. And immediately, Konami Arasugawa, Nasa's former underclassman who runs the bathhouse, is completely shocked that Nasa has brought a girl with him. Intrigued by the situation, she then asks if they are dating, but Nasa instead tells her that the two of them are married, shocking her even more. After congratulating them, Konami invites Tsukasa in to take a bath. Konami demands an explanation for what is going on with this girl, as in her mind there were no possibilities for Nasa to get a girlfriend. Konami then asks if he had told her sister, Aya Arasugawa, about it. But he says that he hasn't, so she agrees to keep this from her, and asks when is the wedding ceremony is, but Nasa says that he hadn't thought about one. After hearing that he hasn't even proposed to Tsukasa, Konami tells him that since he decided to marry her he has a duty to make her happy. Filled with new resolve, Nasa declares that he will make her happy because he loves his wifey, who clearly hears what he just said, much to both of their embarrassment. She then takes her things from him, and tells him that even though she gets embarrassed, she also gets really happy. Once inside the bathhouse, something is twisting around in Nasa's mind, the possibility to see his wifey in her birthday suit. But, Konami is messing around and having fun with him when she stays in the doorway and starts smiling and peeking. Meanwhile, Tsukasa is enjoying her bath until Aya appears in the bath with her. She introduces herself as the eldest daughter of the bathhouse and apologizes for watching Tsukasa while she was bathing, and asks if she could wash her back to make up for it. The girl remarks on how beautiful Tsukasa's skin is, comparing it to silk, but then realizes silk is a cloth that comes from silkworms, and comparing it to insect excrement is not the right choice. Instead, she decides to compare it to an iPhone 10 for some reason. After that brief exchange, Tsukasa introduces herself as Yuzaki Tsukasa, with Aya assuming she's Nasa's little sister. After Nasa's bath, Tsukasa meets back up with him and is accompanied by Aya. It is then, Tsukasa is told how Nasa helped support the Arasugawa family and their business after they fell on hard times. Tsukasa appears disappointed with hearing how grateful Aya is to Nasa. The two of them then leave the bathhouse and head back home. And Tsukasa remarks how cute Aya seems to be, with Nasa completely agreeing with her and not realizing his poor choice of words. Just as he realizes this, he sees her looking at a church wedding, and he asks if she is concerned about it. But, she assumes he is talking about Aya, and totally gets the wrong idea. Tsukasa says that she wants him to say that she is cute too, but he still misunderstands. After some back and forth, he decides that he can't say it right now and goes off to check something. Meanwhile, a girl from inside a limousine watches Tsukasa, calling her sister. While Tsukasa is awaiting Nasa's return, she decides to clean the place but finds out that her darling has already cleaned everything in plain sight. And so, she decides to cook something delicious for him. Soon, the doorbell rings and Tsukasa, only to be greeted by the girl from before, Chitose Kajinoji, which turns out is his sister. But before she can finish, Tsukasa peacefully shuts the door in her face. Chitose then explains, she came looking for her is because their grandmother, Takiko Tsukuyami, is worried. However, Tsukasa can't see any reason for Takiko's involvement, and ends Chitose's attempts to bring her back by telling her she is now married. Now crying all alone outside, Nasa finally arrives home, and offers to listen to Chitose's trouble, not knowing who she is. And just when she starts appreciating the fact that he was listening to her problem, she heard Tsukasa calling him darling. So, she quickly realizes Nasa is her husband. Confused by who she is, Tsukasa tells Nasa that she was taken in by her family, thus making Chitose her little sister. Afterwards, Chitose states that she will not accept him as Tsukasa's partner in marriage. And surprisingly, he shows his good communication skills by saying she's not wrong for thinking that due to how sudden it all was. But Chitose won't simply accept that, and she kidnaps Nasa to her villa. With the help of her maids, Aurora and Charlotte, Chitose wants to get Nasa into a scandal. But when she sees Charlotte taking her new errand way too seriously, her confidence crumbles, and after losing time with a confusing chat, she loses sight of Nasa. Inside a room, Nasa notices a glass case with a moonstone in it, but when Charlotte appears with a large sword, she ends up damaging the glass case. Surprisingly, Nasa manages to fix it, preserving the moonstone, which Chitose tells him that their grandmother borrowed it to ease Tsukasa, confusing Nasa. Charlotte then intervenes and hugs him as a thanks, but Aurora takes this chance to take a picture of them and edits it to make it look indecent. Just then Tsukasa appears, taking the picture and remarking about how nice it looks. Chitose then tells her to get a divorce because of how terrible he is. She seems to agree, telling him to follow her so they can talk it over. Once they leave the room, it becomes clear that they fled instead. They soon find themselves in an old church. Seeing her so bright and happy, Nasa realizes what devotion really is. He starts to tell her that they'll share everything, support each other, and that he doesn't want her to ever regret choosing him as her husband, and sealing it off with a kiss, after swearing to give her his eternal love. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the videos on the screen to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload. Bye!